So what do we do with people who are publicly celebrating Charlie Kirk's death? Now, I know that some people have been fired from their positions because they expressed their gratitude for this person killing him. And it's pretty, crazy that that's a response to someone dying. But hey, that's the way that they see the world. And I'm sure if the roles were reversed, some people would be celebrating for someone else's death. And that's just how human beings are. You can put all the technology you want on us, we're still pretty savage. So I don't agree with that someone should be fired. Like, I really am for free speech. I think it is kind of a little bit of an extreme thing to try to fire someone just because they are a really bad person. Like, you're going to run into bad people all the time, and anybody who celebrates death, I think, is a bad person, or is at least acting bad. I think I made a video about whether good people or bad people. They're acting as a bad person. I want to correct myself with that. But I don't care what the situation is. Death, I believe, is not the answer. So I think I've come up with a different solution. So what should we do with these people? I think we should keep them around. We shouldn't just get rid of people because, again, death is not the answer. So you don't kill them, obviously. You don't fire them. I think that a good recipe, if you really wanted, because firing them isn't going to teach them a lesson. I think that's only going to fuel them even more to be stronger in their convictions in their everyday life. They are going to have reason now to look at people who agree with Charlie Kirk, or that look at that and they say, well, you're the bad guy because you fired me. They're going to have more animosity. And I don't think that more animosity is the answer. So what's the way? I think a simple thing, and we'll call it the Charlie Kirk Test, can be used to help these people maybe start to see some of the pitfalls of why celebrating someone's death is not a very good thing. I'm going to explain what the Charlie Kirk Test is. So a couple different questions would be asked to someone in a Charlie Kirk setting, a public forum. You could do this, whether this be a live stream, you could do this in your business practice. Okay, so if you have an employee, 30 employees, you could do this with your employees. Hey, we were going to fire, Susan for this because we don't agree with this. But instead, what we're going to do is we're going to ask Susan some questions, and she's going to have to answer them in front of everybody. Okay, and I think that this is going to hit to the root of why people see that this is negative, because it doesn't make sense to celebrate. Like I said, it doesn't make sense to celebrate death. So we're going to ask questions like this. Why is it okay for Charlie Kirk to be shot and killed, but it's not okay for you? If the only thing connecting you and him was social media posts, or maybe you saw him on a college campus, the only thing that connected you or disconnected you from him, the only thing that was any disagreement was his way of thinking, his arguments, his words. He never caused you any violence. He never caused anyone else any violence. He never promoted violence. I've been watching a lot of his stuff. I'm looking for the hateful speech. I don't even agree with it if it's hateful speech, but let's just say it's hateful speech. Let's just say he was. Why can't I be a hateful person? Why can't I be a racist? So that's an argument. Why would it be okay for this person to say that it's okay, that it's celebrated to kill a racist? If they've never caused any violence, they've just had ideas of it. I'm not promoting racism. I'm just trying to push this question on someone so that they can argue. I don't have an answer of why that would be a good solution. Killing someone over thoughts, killing someone over viewpoints, killing someone over disagreements, I think is not the answer. Now, you could say, I guess the argument would be that those things will build into violence in the future. There's no guarantee. I know plenty of people who are very, very hateful. They hate a lot of the things that come out of their mouth are hateful. They've never hurt anyone because they're in their 80s. Okay, very hateful people, and this is just who they are. So is it okay to just kill that person for a viewpoint? Now, let's do this. Let's just say there's an equivalent. Okay, let's just say, I don't know any equivalents, but an equivalent to Charlie Kirk, someone who's going out on college campuses, someone who's arguing for the antithesis of what Charlie was saying. And let's just say that person was saying things like the church is a hateful organization because they don't agree with gays and lesbians and transgenders and things like that. They think that that is wrong, and they are hateful because of that. You've heard those arguments. Well, if that person was going out and saying these things and having these conversations with people, would it be okay if Charlie Kirk's people, or the people who agreed with Charlie Kirk, killed that person? Would you be okay with that? If you're someone who opposes Charlie Kirk, would you be okay with someone who agrees with your opinions? Would you be okay with them? Well, why wouldn't you be okay with that? And I want to explain why it would not be okay for that person, why you'd be upset that that person is dead and you're not with Charlie, and why it's justified that that person's death is not okay, but Charlie's is, other than just because of differing viewpoints. Because hate is still there. That person is saying that they hate Christians. That person is saying that they're wrong. Your argument for Charlie being dead or celebrating is he was wrong. He was hateful. Why? Why is it okay for one side to be dead and the other side is not? I would like to see that argued, because I can't find any reasons. I've been trying to do this in my head. I've been trying to rack my brain and go, what would be a logical explanation for it other than I'm on this team and you're on that team, and so I think it's not okay when you kill people on my team, but I think it's okay for you to kill people on your team. I think that all of these wars, the Ukraine and Russia, the Palestinian and Israeli, I think it's all stupid. I don't think anybody deserves to die for any reason. The whole eye for the eye thing leaves the whole world blind. I'm a hippie at heart. I think that death is make love, not war. That's peace and love, baby. That's me. So I look at these situations and I go, well, what's the argument? How are you going to defend yourself against killing someone? Well, if it's directed to someone that you agree with, why is it not okay that they die, but it's okay for someone like Charlie to die? Why would that be okay? I want to know. I can't find it other than the reason, and you can't use this reason. You can't use the reason of I agree with this person and I don't agree with Charlie. Because disagreements, you're going to have disagreements with your spouse. If let's just say you're gay and you have a husband, you're a man and you have a husband, you're going to have disagreements. Should you just kill that person? No, I'm in love with them. Right? Well, in that moment, you might hate them. You might even say, I hate you in an argument. Hateful speech. Do you kill your husband when that happens? Well, you're saying that you disagree with Charlie and that you hate him and that he's hateful and you should kill hateful people. But what happens when it's your husband directed at you, or when it's you directed at your husband? Okay? How does that play out? If we start to extrapolate these arguments and say it's okay to death, let's just try to be consistent with it. And if we are, what does the world look like when we play that out? So the Charlie Kirk test would be defend why you are okay with this person dying, but not you. Not someone that you agree with. Not someone on your team. Because I'm sure there's been hate. Now, that's the other thing is you hated Charlie Kirk. Why can't I kill you because of your hate? He never killed anybody. You never killed anybody. You said it's okay for him to kill people because that hate might grow into other people. Oh, I'm extrapolating. Maybe that's the argument. Okay, that hate will build into violence someday. Okay, let's go with that. I can say the same thing about your hate for Charlie. Your hate one day is going to end up killing Christians or this, that. Well, they're not on the right team. You can't use that argument. Why? Why is it okay? I want to know. I'm someone who likes to think about these things. I'm genuinely curious as to know why it's okay for some people to die and others don't. I can't find any reason to. Terrorists blows up buildings. Okay? 9/11 was the day after Charlie Kirk's. What should we do with these people? We should kill them off with their heads. I don't agree with that. That's my position. I don't think it solves anything. I think it creates more harm, just like the firing of these people. Like I said, I think that this is a very interesting dynamic going on right now, where people are, yes, being childish, yes, being hateful, yes, being mean, yes, being, like I said, close to being a bad person. There are no bad people, but really, really bad, maybe even evil behavior, celebrating someone's death. I still don't think that firing them or pushing more hate on them is the answer. We have to find solutions that bring people together. And even if someone does the unthinkable, look at Erica Kirk. She said in the event for Charlie, his funeral, I forgive that man, because that type of man it was who Charlie was working on. It was such beautiful words when you really think about it. It's exactly who Charlie was trying to help. People who are confused, people who are hateful themselves, had enough hate to actually act it out. Say what you want about Charlie. If he's a hateful person, he still hasn't acted it out. This kid was 22 and he acted it out. Charlie's 31. So he's got 9 more years of being hateful and spewing this stuff. If that's what you agree with, why hasn't it? Where's his blood on his hands? And this is again where we get to these things. But even for me, even someone like Charlie Kirk's murderer, I think we should show mercy because it doesn't solve our problems. Yes, there are consequences. You put these people to jail, okay? We can't have these people around. There are laws. You can't just break laws and it's okay, we forgive you. No, that's not what we mean. But I don't think the death penalty, or I don't think going to war with people who are doing these things, I think you have to protect yourself at some point, but I think especially today, we're ready for a more advanced view. Now, when it comes to wars and you get attacked, you attack them. Again, there are even rules of engagement about how we go about wars. You just start killing, babies and children and civilians and things like that. I don't agree with the Hiroshima bomb, whether it stopped the war or not. I don't agree with it. Those atomic bombs that killed, cities of people, not just military bases and things. I think that the rules of engagement are there, but even then, I think that we should be above these things now. That's just my opinion, but we're not there yet. What do you think? Okay, I really want to know, what's the argument for violence? Okay, now in the moment someone is hacking on someone, you can hit them, right? You can tear them off. Okay, but what value is killing someone? I think showing people mercy, I think giving people forgiveness, I think that always leads to a net positive in the end, whereas killing people always leads to more killing. Cain and Abel, it goes back to the Bible. You kill my brother, I kill yours. You kill 2, I kill 2. 4, 8, 16, 32. It just keeps going more and more and more and more. And I think that if we keep going down that hole, we're going to stay in it forever. So I think that we need to evolve. But I want to know, what's the argument for violence? And I think that people who are celebrating this, I think that we should have them do the Charlie Kirk test. Find out, how do they explain this? And how would they explain why it's not? Because that might show them a little bit of fault in their argument to say that it is okay, because it's not okay for disagreements. What if you disagree with your son or your daughter or your spouse or whoever? Is it okay to kill with them because of disagreement? Well, that's different. Why is it any different? I want to know, why is that any different than this? It doesn't make any sense to me, and I'm very genuinely curious as to know what the arguments are, because my brain can't figure them out right now. That's the Charlie Kirk test, and that's it for today. See you next time.